Hi students, in the last class we have discussed about set theory, then the part called power set, universal set, then intervals, open interval, closed interval, all those concepts we have studied, and how many subsets are there, how many proper subsets, improper subset, trivial subsets and non-trivial subsets. All these things we have completed in the last class. Now, we will continue from where we have stopped in the last class. The next question here in the problem sheet till 10, question number 10 we have already completed. We will start with question number 11. Observe this question, students. Let A, B and C be 3 sets. So, A, B, C are 3 sets. If A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, is it true that A is a subset of C? If not, give an example. This is the question, question number 11. Okay. It is given, I will write here solution. Solution. What is given? Given that A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C. This is what is given in the problem. Now, the question is whether A is a subset of C. What is the meaning of A is a subset of B? All elements of A are the elements of B. What do you mean by B is a subset of C? All elements of B are the elements of C. Since all the elements of A are present in B and all the elements of B are present in C, obviously every element in A must be present in C. Understood it is. Just oral thinking will give the answer, but the question is whether can we write orally as a solution in the problem or in the annual exam or in the board exam. Answer is no. You must write it with a specific way. How to do it? Mathematical steps are involved in proving this particular relation or result. Let us see how it can be done. My requirement is to prove that A is a subset of C. My requirement is to prove A is a subset of C. In short, I have to prove that all elements of A are the elements of C. So, what I will do is I will take up any arbitrary element belongs to A. Let me take x, x belongs to A. Imagine I consider a value x, x belongs to A. Now, it is given that A is a subset of B. It is given A is a subset of B. That implies x has to belong to B. No doubt in that, because every element of A are elements of B. If x is there in A, that element should be there in B, otherwise B is not a superset or A is not a subset. Okay, by definition of subset concept. Then now x belongs to B and B is a subset of C. B is a subset of C. That implies x belongs to C. Because B is a subset of C, every element of B should be there in C. X belongs to C. Therefore, x belongs to A. I have started with x belongs to A. That implies x belongs to C. I have started with x belongs to A and I proved that x belongs to C, and this element can be any element of A. Okay. So, in general every element of A must belong to C. So, I will write here, since x is arbitrary, since x is arbitrary element, since x is arbitrary element of A, we conclude, arbitrary means it can be any element, we conclude every element of A, every element of A belongs to C. Every element of A belongs to C. Therefore, A is obviously a subset of C. This is the conclusion. This is the way you are supposed to write in the board exam when such questions are asked. It is purely mathematical steps. Do not write A is a subset of B, therefore all elements of A are elements of B, B is a subset of C, all elements of B are subset of C. Since every element of A are in B, every element of B are in C, every element of A are in C. Do not write like that. You will not be given with marks. What you have to do is you have to prove like this. Take any element here, it belongs to this by this condition, that belongs to this by this condition. Therefore, it is an arbitrary element. Arbitrary means it can be any element in that set. This result is true. Since it is arbitrary element, we conclude that every element of A belongs to C. Therefore, A is a subset of C. At the end of the day, what is needed for us? Our aim is to show that A is a subset of C. What do you mean by subset? Every element in that set must be present in the other set. Therefore, A is a subset of C implies every element of A must be there in C. That is what we have proved. Therefore, the result is true. Second part of the question, if not give an example, there is no need of giving the example because we have proved the result. It is not a wrong statement, it is a correct statement, for that valid proof is given. Hope you got my point, students. Every time when you deal with such problems, when one set is a subset of another set, always think about taking an element in the previous step and show that that element belongs to the other set, and then we can conclude, because it is an arbitrary element, it is a subset. This is the way we expect students to solve problems whenever it is asked proving a general result. Now, when I can give examples, that is the question, when I can give examples. You can give example if you disprove the result. If you do not agree with that, then only you can give the example. Say for example, students, what they will do is, they will take sets like this: A is equal to 1 2, B is equal to 1 2 3, because A is a subset of B, they have told you. So, and C they will take it as, B is a subset of C, they will take it as 1 2 3 4. Then they will write A is a subset of B, B is a subset of C clearly. Further, set containing 1 2 is a subset of set containing 1 2 3 4. Therefore, A is a subset of C, like this they will write, and conclusion is given. This cannot be taken as a proof, students, because this is an example. Example we can't give to prove the result, but disproving, yes. If I say all the prime numbers are odd numbers, prove it. Then students will tell, no sir, no, I do not agree with this particular result sentence what you said. Okay, why you do not agree? I do not agree because there exists a prime number 2 which is even. That is okay, because you are not agreeing and you are giving a counter example. That is an effective method called counter example method. That is when statement given you do not agree. That is what is clearly shown there. See here, if not, that means if you do not agree with this, then give an example. If you agree with that, then you have to give a general proof like this and not examples like that. Examples are not proofs. Examples are there only to disprove. When you do not agree, then you give a counter example by saying that, no, I do not agree because this type of case exists. If I say all prime numbers are odd, no sir, I do not agree because there exists a prime number 2 which is even. Fantastic. That is giving a counter example for disproving the result. Proving is always like this. Hope you got my point. Yes. Next, we will go ahead with the next problem. Given that the number of subsets of A is 16, find the number of elements of A. Last class I have told you, when the number of elements in A is n, students, what will be the number of subsets? Recall total number of subsets of a set having n elements. What is the formula? Formula is nothing but 2 to the power n. So, I will write here, if A has n elements, if A has n elements, then total subsets is equal to 2 to the power n. Then total subsets is equal to 2 to the power n. So, here what is given? Given that A has the total number of subsets is 16. Therefore, 2 to the power n is equal to 16, because total number of subsets is 16. Find the number of elements in A. This implies n has to be equal to 4. Therefore, total number of elements. Therefore, total number of elements in A is equal to 4. A is equal to 4. Total number of subsets is 2 power n, where n is the number of elements. Here it is given 16, therefore it is 4. If it is 32, you would have given the answer 5. If it is 128, you would have given the answer 7. Okay, fine. Go to the next one. Again, one more question again. See there. A set A has 4 elements, then find the number of elements in the power set of A. Number of elements in A is equal to 4. This is what they have given. Then total number of elements in the power set. What do you mean by power set? Recall, power set is a set containing all the subsets. Yesterday I have told you total number of elements in power set of A is nothing but total number of subsets. So, total number of elements of A is equal to total number of subsets. So what is total number of subsets here? Total number of subsets is 2 to the power n, that is equal to 2 to the power n is 4, that means it is 16. And you know that power set is nothing but a set containing all the subsets. So how many subsets are there? 16. Yesterday I have given you an exercise, students, exercise A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, write all the subsets. How many subsets you got? For a set containing 4 elements, you have to get 16 subsets. I hope all of you got the answer there. It is null set, then 1 element subsets are 4, that is set containing 1, set containing 2, set containing 3 and set containing 4. Then 2 element subsets are 6, 3 element subsets are 4 and then 4 element subsets, that is 1. So total it will be 16 subsets. Hope you tried that and you got the answer. Fine. So these are the 3 simple problems, students. In that you have to concentrate on the first one, 11th one, because you are proving it in general, not giving a counter example or example to prove the things. Fine. Second and the third are very simple, based on total number of subsets for a set with n elements is 2 to the power n. Okay. Next we go to the next one. Next is very important, Venn diagram. Now what do you mean by this Venn diagram? Students, if I take one set like this, imagine 1, 2, 3. And if I take another set, students, say something like this 2, 3, 4, and I will take another set C like this 3, 4, 5. Now my first question to all of you, can you associate an universal set for this? You know what do you mean by universal set? We have observed it in the last class. A set, all sets under consideration are subsets of a single large set, then that single large set is called universal set, which is denoted by capital U. This is what I have told you in the last class. So for this I can associate a universal graph, universal set like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I have an option of including or excluding other elements, but these elements are must. All the elements whatever you can observe here, universal set has to have that, and universal set is not unique also, I have told you, but the smallest universal set possible is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I have to represent this in the Venn diagram, students, Venn diagram is a very important concept in set theory. Many of the results also can be proved by Venn diagram. Venn diagram acts like a proof also for many problems. How it can be done? See, one set, sets are usually denoted by circles like this. This is the first set, this is A. Okay, this is the first set, this is A. Let me write like this, this is a circle. Then second set B, this is B, and the third set is C. All these are denoted like this, C. Now you can see, students, there is an element 3 which is common to all 3 sets. So A, B, C, everything is common. So I will write this as 3 like this, this is 3. These are the elements which are common to all the 3. Then A and B, is there anything common? A and B, 2 and 3 are common, 2 is already written, so I will write 2 here, because this is the intersection of A and B, I can say. Common elements to A and B. Then 3 is there, A and C you see, A and C, anything common? Except 3, nothing is common. So what I can do is, then here there is nothing actually. Then A, 2, 3 over, so there is 1, and B, 2, 3 over, this is 4, and C, it is 5, like this. I have written circle, corresponding sets, then anything common is there, I have written here. This is common to all, this is a part of C, and this is a part of B, and this is a part of A. So this is common to all, this is common to only A and B, this is common to only A and C. For the time being, don't worry about those numbers, I just wanted to show that sets are denoted by circles, and then universal set is always denoted by the rectangle. This is universal set. And this means that, universal set means that there are elements in the universal set which are not there in A, B, C. For example, if I write one more element here 6, then that 6 may be here, that 6 is not a part of A, B and C. So universal set is usually denoted by square or rectangle, and the sets are denoted by circles in a Venn diagram. So I will just make one point here, one point I will just make note. You also make note of this. Universal set we always denote by rectangle, and set denoted by circle, and circle must lie inside a rectangle, inside a rectangle, inside a rectangle. If 3 sets are there, then 3 circles will come into picture. If 4 sets are there, 4 circles will be there. If there is only one set, then there will be only one circle. Say for example, corresponding to this, only one set is there. Then it's understood that this is the universal set and this is the set A which has element 1, 2, 3. That's all. Okay? But universal set is always rectangle, sets are always represented by circles. Fine. So, this is about Venn diagram, students. Next we go ahead with the next one, because now all these operations in sets actually represented using Venn diagram. So, for that reason I just wanted to give the introduction for what do you mean by Venn diagram. Okay. Now, if you take set of integers or real numbers or natural numbers or rational numbers, whatever set you take, students, we have defined 4 basic operations in that called addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. These are the 4 basic operations which you have performed on numbers. Now, when sets are given, what are the basic operations which we can perform? Is it addition of sets is possible? Is it subtraction? Is it multiplication? Is it division of sets is possible? Answer is no. None of those operations are valid in sets. Then which are the operations which we have to go ahead? First operation is called union, second is called intersection, third is called difference or symmetric difference, and the fourth one is called complement. So, these are the 4 operations which we can define on sets. One is union, intersection, difference or symmetric difference, and then complement. These are the 4 basic operations which we can define. Now, we will see one by one this. Okay? Yes. First, union. What do you mean by union of sets? First of all, students, imagine you have been given with the 2 sets A and B. If 2 sets are given A and B, then we can define the union of them. A union B, the notation is this is U, A union B, capital U. It is not universal set. Universal set is usually denoted like this, but here it is understood when you take two sets and if you are operating, then it is not universal set. It is understood by default that it is an operation called union. So, union, A union B we write, and in A union B we will be having all those elements X in which X can be belongs to A or X can be belongs to B. I am not worried whether X belongs to A or X belongs to B. I am sure I just want to make sure that element X what I am listing there, it should be either in A or in B or in both. That is the basic definition of union. Say for example, if I take set A, say for example A I will take, A is equal to set say 1, 2, 3, 4 and B is equal to set say 4, 5, 6, 7 or 4, 5, 6, this is B. Question is what is A union B? When I say union, students, union, then 1 belongs to A, therefore let me make note of that. 1, 2 belongs to A, 3 belongs to A, 4 belongs to A, then come to B. 4 is already listed, so don't write again. 5, 6. This is what I said. I am not worried whether this element belongs to A or B, but it belongs to any one of them. That's enough for me. This is how we define union. Union means its collection of all those numbers which are present either in A or in B or in both, not a problem. If 4 is there here, 4 is there here, let me list that, not a problem, but don't write twice, write only once. Okay? This is called union. Now, students, if I want to write this in the Venn diagram, I have told you that time the rectangle is always denoted for universal set. So, that is universal set. Now, this is the set A, this is the set B, set A and set B. Now, set A has how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, let me write 1, 2, 3, 4 is common to both. So, let me write like this. Then 5, 6. B, this is the set B which contains how many elements? 4, 5, 6, 3 elements. This is the set A, how many elements it has got? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 elements are there. So, this is actually the Venn diagram and this is the union of those 2 sets. Say, if I take up this example, students, for the time being, if you just observe this example, just observe this. This is the universal set, they have written here this is universal set, this is the set A, this is the set B. Sets are denoted by circles. Now, union if you want, then I can write the union is set containing 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. That is what is written here, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. 1, 2, 5, 7, 8 is the union of sets A as well as B. So, that element, when I say if I pick up element 2, I am not sure whether it belongs to any one of them or which of them, or whether it is for both. No, for me it is enough that that element will be there either in A or in B with repetition or without repetition. That is actually called as union. So, this is union of sets. Then students, what we will do next is A union B is this. My next question is, what is B union A? What is B union A? Think about this. B union A is 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. I am not repeating 4. So, this much. My question is whether this and this is same. Whether A union B is same as B union A. You can argue, sir, first element is 4 here, first element is 1, therefore, they are not same. No. Yesterday only I have told you, writing the elements in which order does not make any difference. After all, you have to check whether these two sets are equal or not. When two sets are equal, at the end of the day, when you operate two sets, end of the day what you are going to get is a set only. This is a set, this is a set. Whether these two are equal sets, answer is yes, because they have the same elements, not same number of elements, they have the same elements. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, listing in which order, that does not make any difference. So, A union B is equal to B union A. This law we call it as commutative law. So, it satisfies commutativity. For example, adding of integers 2 plus 4 or 4 plus 2, that is same, that is called commutative law. In multiplication of numbers, say 10 into 2 or 2 into 10, it is the same. So, multiplication also satisfies commutative law, and union of two sets also satisfies commutative law. Next is, say students, I will take up another set C, this is equal to 1, 2. If I take like this, then students, you take A union B first, and whatever set you get, you take union with C, or you first take union of B and C, then you take union with A. They are always same. A union B union C will be called A union B union C, because after all, at the end of the day, this left hand side and right hand side both are equal to A union B union C. What do you mean by A union B union C? A union B union C means first list all the elements of A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then list all the elements of B. B has 4, 5, 6. 4 is already written, 5 and 6. Then C, how many elements are there? 1, 2. 1, 2 is already written. So, this is A union B union C. If I write it as 11 and 12, then the answer would have been, I will add 2 more elements, 11 and 12. This is A union B union C. You take the union of these two and then take the union of this, or take the union of these two or take this, does not make any difference over there. So, this law is called associative law. That law is called associative law. Then students, you take A union A, union of A with A only you take. So, first set is A, and what is the second set? Second set is also A only, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, let me take the union of this. First, let me write all the elements of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is already written. So, what should be A union A therefore? A. A union A is also equal to A. B union A is always B. And then A union null set is equal to, set A is 1, 2, 3, 4, union with the null set, that is equal to, first list all the elements of A, 1, 2, 3, 4, now list, add the elements of null set, there is nothing, that means it is A only. A union null set is always equal to A. This actually plays a role of 0 in addition. 2 plus 0, 2 plus 0, 2. I am sorry, not null set. I have told you, that is A. This is A. So, 2 plus 0 is 2, or 10 plus 0 is 10, or it plays a role of 1 in multiplication. 10 into 1, 10, 20 into 1, 20. So, whatever number is there, same thing you are getting. So, this is actually called additive identity in sets. I can say that is identity element with respect to union. So, null set is identity element. It plays a role of 0 in addition, 1 in multiplication. Similarly, null set in sets under the operation union. Okay? Yes. So, it satisfies commutative law, associative law, then identity also exists, and idempotent law. This is called idempotent law. A union A is always equal to A. This is identity exists for sets. So, If you see students, properties commutativity, associativity, identity and idempotent. This is actually identity, this is idempotent. A union A is always equal to A. Associative is A union B, union C, A union B union C. Whichever way you take first and you are, doesn't make any difference. One simple example for additive identity is, students, 1 plus 4 plus 5. Is it same as 1 plus 4 plus 5? This is my question, just for the better understanding I am writing. First add these two, what do you get? 5. Then that 5 you add it with this 5, what do you get? 10. So left hand side is 10. What about the right hand side? Don't add 1 and 4 first, you add 4 and 5. What is 4 plus 5? 9. 9 plus 1 is what? 10. 10 is equal to 10, you can see. What is my point is, wherever you put bracket, at the end of the day it is nothing but 1 plus 4 plus 5, that is equal to 10. Same thing I have told you, A, wherever you put bracket doesn't make any difference, end of the day this will be nothing but A union B union C, that is all. So that is what is called associative law, and this is called idempotent law. A union A is equal to A. So idempotent law is A union A is equal to A, and identity law is A union null set is equal to A, and associative law is this. This is associative law and this is commutative law. Which order you take sets doesn't matter, because end of the day the set what you are going to get is unique. Now don't think every time that commutativity is always true for any sets. No, for any number, for any concept. Sets it is true, addition it is true, but subtraction it is not true. For example, if you subtract 1 minus 4 and if you subtract 4 minus 1, they are not same. So subtraction is not commutative. Multiplication is commutative. 20 into 2 or 2 into 20, same. 1 plus 4 or 4 plus 1, it is same. But 1 minus 4 and 4 minus 1 are not same. So every time it is not true. But for union of sets, commutativity is always true. Okay. So this is about union of sets. Now one important fact here is, students, when you take A union B, it is actually the superset of both A and B. In short, A and B are subsets of A union B. That is what is highlighted there. Clearly A is a subset of A union B and B is a subset of A union B. You just see here, A, what are the elements of A? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 elements of A are present in this. Therefore, I can say A is a subset of A union B. Then, what about B? Elements of B are 4, 5, 6. You can see 4, 5, 6 is also there in A union B. B is also a subset of A union B. A is a subset of A union B. B is also a subset of A union B. So, when you take union, whatever you are going to get is always a superset of its components called subsets. So, A is a subset of A union B, B is a subset of A union B. If I write A union D, understood that both A and D are subsets of A union D. Okay. A union is always a bigger set corresponding to its components. Fine. Now, students, usually we write the union operation in Venn diagram like this. I have given you an example that time. So, the notation is like this. This is actually general notation I am giving you, students. I am not taking any sets or something like that. This is A, this is B. Then the union of these two sets is nothing but this. This is the notation for union. This is how we highlight. Meaning is, you select all the elements of A, all the elements of B, also the common elements you take. So everything you have to take. This is actually called as A union B. This is how we highlight. All these elements are taken into account. You can see there, you can see that blue shade, that blue means that everything is taken. That is called union. This is about the first operation, how it is defined, and then what are the properties. In one simple example, then this is how we denote or shade the A union B part. Okay, fine. Then we will go to the second one. Second operation here is called intersection. Second operation is intersection, but before going ahead with that, we have some simple problems to solve. We will see and we will solve these problems quickly. First one, x equal to 1, 3, 5, y equal to 1, 2, 3. Start, students, write x union y. Come on, start. What is x union y? Write the elements. Elements of X union Y. X union Y is equal to X union Y is equal to set containing 1, 3, 5, 2. 1, 3, 5 from set first one, and in the second set 1 and 3 is already written here, so only element which is not written is 2. So this is X union Y. Go to the second one, B. A union B is equal to, what is A union B? List, come on, start. A union B is A, E, I, O, U. Then anything special is there in the other set? Yes, B and C. Like that, finished. This is A union B. Write the elements of A, elements of B, but common elements you write only once. Then C. A equal to all those x such that x is a natural number and multiple of 3. X is a natural number and multiple of 3. B, that means A is equal to, this is the set builder form, natural number multiple of 3 means 3, 6, 9, 12 and so on, infinitely many numbers are there. B is equal to x is a natural number less than 6, therefore it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Less than 6 means 6 will not come into picture. Therefore, I can say students A union B is equal to union, no. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 15, so on. This is A union B. Then from here onwards, whatever we get are multiples of 3 and they are natural numbers. Go to the next one, problem D. A is equal to all those x such that x is a natural number and 1 less than x less than or equal to 6. That means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then B is equal to all those x such that x is a natural number and 6 to 10, in between that 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. Therefore, A union B is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is A union B. First, they have, you see their set builder form, write that in the roster method, list all the elements, then it is easy to write union. Okay, so this is about problems 1, A, B, C and D. We will go to the second problem now. The second problem, just observe, let A is equal to just observe that problem, let A is equal to A, E, I, O, U and B is equal to A, I, U. Show that A union B is nothing but A. Okay, we will do that. It is a very simple problem. A is equal to A, E, I, O, U and B is equal to A, I, U. So, A union B is nothing but, first list all the elements of A, E, I, O, U and then A already written, I already written, U already written, this much. This is nothing but A, finished. Show that it is the same, A union B is A, it is done. Why A union B is A? I told you that time that A is a subset of A union B. A union B is A because B is a subset of A, which is a larger set here. A is a larger set which contains the elements of B, all elements of B. Okay. So, one important note what I can give at this point of time is, if B is a subset of A, then A union B is always equal to A, and if A is a subset of B, then A union B is always equal to B. If A and B are not subsets or supersets of each other, then A and B are strictly subsets of A union B, which was that is what I have given it in the explanation that time. So, B is a subset of A, union is A is a subset of B, union is B, larger set you are supposed to write there. Very important point from the level 1 exam point of view or CET exam point of view, very important point this, make note of this. Then question number 3A, let A is equal to AB, B is equal to ABC, is A is a subset of C? Answer is yes, because all the elements of A are the elements of B. Very simple question, just you can write one sentence yes or one word yes. Then fourth one, if A is equal to set containing 1, 2, 3, 4, B is equal to set containing 3, 4, 5, 6, C is equal to set containing 5, 6, 7, 8 and D is 7, 8, 9, 10, then you are supposed to find, okay, we will see what are the things which we are supposed to find. First one, A union B. A union B is what? First A is A union B. This is equal to set containing 1, 2, 3, 4 must elements, and then you see B 3, 4 agide. So write for 2 more elements 5 and 6. Then A union C. This is equal to A union C 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go to C 5, 6, 7, 8. None of them are written here. So write 5, 6, 7, 8. Then B union C. B union C is 3, 4, 5, 6. Now go to C. 5, 6 is already written. 7, 8. Then go to the last one. B union C union D. So first write the elements of B. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then C. 7, 8. Then D. 7, 8 is already written. 9, 10. This is the union of those two sets. Those sets. So this is the answer for A, B, C as well as D. I hope you got my point. You would have tried this problem by yourself. It's a very simple problem. So this is about union, students. Next what we do is we will go ahead with the second operation called intersection. So I hope this point is clear to you. The first problem, definitely A union B is A because B is a subset of A. Second one is understood, all the elements of A are the elements of B. And the third one, A union B, A union C, B union C, B union C union D. You can solve these problems. This is a simple problem. You only can try such problems. Okay. Yes. So that is about the first operation called union. Union means element can be present in A or in B or in both. We will go ahead with the second operation now, intersection. Now, if you start with the two sets, students, A and B, then the intersection of two sets is denoted like this, A intersection B. This is the notation. Actually, earlier it was union. Now it is exactly opposite. I can say it is rotated 180 degree towards anti-clock direction or clockwise direction. Does not make any difference. You will get this symbol. A intersection B. Now here I am interested in those elements, students. X belongs to A. Earlier it was OR. Now I will change that and I will write it as AND. In the union this part was OR, but now it is AND. That means intersection means we are interested in only the common elements. Common elements. We say two lines will intersect. Two lines will intersect because one point is common to them. So intersect word has come from this intersection. Intersection means always common. Okay. Say for example, if you want to know one example, say A is equal to set containing 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to set containing 2, 3, 4. Imagine. Then A intersection B is only common elements you have to write. Which are the common elements here? 2 and 3. This is the common elements. So if you want me to give the Venn diagram to this, just observe this. Two sets are there, set A and set B. This is the first set A, this is the second set B, and the common elements are this. This is actually A, this part is A intersection B. Only the common elements in A and B I am taking. This full is A, full is B. You could recall union, I have shaded everything, all the elements I am taking, but the intersection means only the common element present I am going to consider. If you want A union B, the answer would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. Intersection is 2 and 3, that is all. Only the common elements. See there in that example. The set A, if you see, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And set B is 1, 3, 9, 12. And now you see, students, which is the common elements? Common elements are common to both, that is only 1 and 3. 1 and 3 is the intersection. So this part is common to both. I am going to highlight only this part. Last time blue shade was there for full. Now blue shade is there only for the intersection of those two sets. Intersection means, remember, common elements. Intersection, alternate word for intersection is common elements. Only the elements which are common to both the sets I am going to highlight in intersection operation. Fine. And one example also I have given. Now students, A intersection B, when I say if you take B intersection A, once again the common elements in B and A is 2, 3. Therefore, I can say commutativity holds A intersection B is always equal to B intersection A. Therefore, commutativity, there is absolutely no problem, commutative law is valid. So, commutative law is valid. So, I will put the tick mark. Now, what about associative law? Is it A intersection B intersection C is same as A intersection B intersection C? Is it associative law is valid? Answer is once again associative. What do you mean by intersection? A intersection B intersection C means elements common to A, B, C, all the 3 sets, whichever is common, you write. You take first these 2 sets or next to these 2 sets, doesn't make any difference there. For example, A is there, B is here. Now, let me take one more set, say 2, 5, 2 and 5. Now, can anybody tell me what is A intersection B intersection C? Andre elements common iruvatadu 3 set alli. 2 is common here, 2 is common here, 2 is common here. Only element which is common to all the 3 sets is 2. So, this is A intersection B intersection C. You take these 2 first and then take C, or you take these 2 first and then take A, does not make any difference, because at the end of the day, whichever is common to all 3, we are going to write the answer here. So, even associative law is also valid. Then, students, A intersection A is what? Elements common to A as well as A. That means first set is A 1, 2, 3 and the second set is also A 1, 2, 3. Now, can you tell me what is the elements which is common to these 2 sets A and A? Answer is 1, 2, 3. What is 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3 itself is A. Therefore, A intersection A is also equal to A. That is called idempotent law. Last we saw A union A is A. Now, it is understood that A intersection A is also A. So, idempotent law is also valid with respect to intersection. Now, if I take distributive law, now what do you mean by distributive law? That you should know. Distributive law means if you take A union B intersection C, if I take 3 elements, say 3 sets A union B intersection C, then I can write this as A union B intersection A union C, and A intersection B union C is A intersection B union A intersection C. These 2 are together called distributive law. It acts like this, students. A into B plus C. What is A into B plus C? When you simplify, you write it as A into B plus A into C. So, we can say that dot and plus, multiplication and addition are distributive, or multiplication is distributive over addition, like that we say. So, here the multiplication and addition rules are taken over by union and intersection. So, A union B intersection A union C. Here A intersection B union A intersection C. So, this law is called distributive law, and distributive law, it is not exclusively for intersection, it is the combination of union as well as intersection. So, A union B intersection C is A union B intersection A union C, and A intersection B union C is A intersection B union A intersection C. So, that is what we get. This is called distributive law. Distributive, the union is distributive over intersection, intersection is distributive over addition as far as sets are taken into account. The operations union and intersections are distributive under sets. This is what you must know. Okay. So, we studied first law is called first operation union, second operation intersection. Now, students, one important thing, when you take intersection A intersection B, when you take, it is a smaller set. A intersection B is always a subset of A, and A intersection B is always a subset of B. Now, if you could recall, what was the similar results in union? In union of sets, I have already told you that when A and B are taken 2 sets, then when I take A union B, it always contains A, or B is always a subset of A union B. This is what I said. But if you take intersection, students, then it will reverse. This is A. That contained in will become contains. A is contained in union, but A contains intersection. Here also it reverses. So, A intersection B. For example, if I take A as 1, 2, 3 and B as 2, 3, 4, now my first question is, what is A intersection B? A intersection B is only the common elements 2 and 3. But what about A? A is 1, 2, 3. What is A intersection B? Only 2 and 3. That means which is the larger set? Larger set is A. That means A intersection B should be a subset of A. You can see clearly in this Venn diagram, this is A intersection B, this is a subset of A, that is a part of A. Similarly, it is a part of B. So, intersection when I take, it is always a smaller set, and union if I take, it is always a larger set. This one concept you must know. Okay. And this is about the second operation, how it is defined, one example, Venn diagram, then properties of intersection, commutative, associative, idempotent, but distributivity is with respect to both union as well as intersection. Next, disjoint sets. What do you mean by disjoint sets? Say for example, students, I will take up one set called 1, 2, 3 and I will take up another set called 4 and 5. Now, what is A intersection B? I want to calculate. What is A intersection B? Common elements in A and B. Can you identify any element which is common to both A and B? Impossible. Therefore, I can say that A intersection B is a null set. Null set means it is a set with no elements. Therefore, I can say if this is the condition, A intersection B is a null set, then the sets are called disjoint sets. Disjoint sets. The Venn diagram is like this. This is the set A, this is the set B. You can see there is nothing common. So, this set contains elements 1, 2, 3. I will write A outside here, I will write B outside, and here it is elements 4 and 5. Is there anything common? No, they are disjoint. They are disjoint sets. If you want me to give 2 examples for disjoint sets, set of even natural numbers and set of odd natural numbers, they are disjoint, nothing is common. One more, set of positive integers, set of negative integers, there is nothing common there. Therefore, they are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಎರಡು ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಾಮನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಾರದು. ಕಾಮನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. Then Venn diagram will be like this. Say for example, if I add one element 3 here, then they are not disjoint. Their Venn diagram will be like this. There is a common element 3. So, this intersection part will come there. So, if there is no intersection part, only if this is the case, then it will be like this. They are disjoint. They are not intersecting. They are disjoint sets. Okay? Yes. You can see there in the sketch, students, in that graph, you can see in that Venn diagram, they are disjoint because here the elements are 1, 2, 3, here the elements are 5, 7, 9. There is no, there is nothing like intersection over here. But here if you see, students, 7 is the element which is common to both. Therefore, they are not disjoint sets, but whereas here it is disjoint. Disjoint ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ elements are not common. So, this is about disjoint sets. Okay. Types of sets we studied earlier: finite set, infinite set, null set, singleton set. Then came disjoint sets. Is it okay? Universal set, power set, they are not in particular sets, that is obtained using some operation. So, even disjoint sets obtained using some operations. Fine, done. We will go ahead with the next one. Find the intersection of each of the following pairs of sets. So, fifth question, students, will start. That means the question is like this in the problem sheet, if you could recall. For the problem number 1, for the same set of sets, find the intersection. For the same sets we found union that time. Now, we will try to find the intersection here. So, x intersection y is equal to, what is the common element here? 3. Therefore, this is x intersection y. Finished. Common elements I have to highlight. Second one, A is AEIOU, B is ABC. Now, your aim is to highlight only the common elements. Therefore, I can say A intersection B is equal to, which are the common elements, students, here? Only A. So, this is the common element. So, that is about intersection. Go to the third one. X is a natural number and multiple of 3. X is a natural number and less than 6. So, first set A here is natural number and multiple of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, so on. Then B is equal to all those x such that x is a natural number less than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Less than 6 means 6 will not come into picture. Question is, what is A intersection B? Answer is common elements you have to highlight. Only one element is common, that is 3. You can see that all these, in all these cases, the intersection is a singleton set, but it need not be singleton set. It is understood. For 3, it is singleton sets. Go to the fourth one. D. X is a natural number and A is equal to x is a natural number and 1 less than x less than or equal to 6 means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then B is equal to x is a natural number and 6 less than x less than 10. 7, 8, 9. You can see 7, 8, 9. Now students, what is A intersection B? Can you find any common elements here? No. Therefore, you have to highlight that by writing null set. Don't write disjoint sets. They have not asked whether it is disjoint or not. It is a null set. Intersection is a null set. Hence, we can understand that those two sets are disjoint because no elements are in common. Okay, that is about problem D under 5. Next, we go to question number 6. So, we will go ahead with the question number 6 students now. Next question. Observe the question. A is given, B is given, C is given, D is given. Find A intersection B, B intersection C, all. Start with this. Only the common elements you have to highlight. It's a very simple problems. Anybody can do that. Let me give some time to you students so that you can start with this problem. Come on. Maybe 1 minute time I will give for you to solve this. Later you can verify the answer. A intersection B means elements common to A and B. B intersection C means elements common to B and C. A intersection C intersection D means elements should be common to A as well as C as well as D. All three sets common elements you have to highlight. Okay? Yes. Common to A and B, 7, 9, 11. Common to B and C, 11, 13. A, C and D, A, C and D, common. A and C elements which are common are only 11 and D you can't see any 11 there. So, it is a null set. Then A intersection C, A and C common elements 11. Hope you are checking the answer what you have written. B intersection D elements common to B and D. 7, 9, 11, 13 B, D is 15, 17, no elements are common, it is once again null set. So, this is the answer. Hope all of you got it. It is a simple problem where you are dealing with intersection, common elements you are finding and you are highlighting that. So, that is about question number 6. Now, we go ahead with question number 7. The first thing what you should do in question number 7 is they have given the sets in rule method or set builder form. You are supposed to write that in roster method, then solve the problem. It will be easy. Okay? Yes. So, write all the sets A, B, C, D first. Seven. Set A is equal to all those x such that x is a natural number, all those x such that x is a natural number. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. It's infinite set. B, all those x such that x is even natural number 2, 4, 6, 8, so on. C, all those x such that x is the odd natural number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. D, all those x such that x is a prime number, x is a prime number 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, so on. So on. First case, find A intersection B. A intersection B. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all natural numbers. D is only the prime natural numbers. Therefore, I can say A intersection D has to be equal to 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, so on. That means it is all those x such that x is a prime number. When I say x is a prime number, students, my argument is A intersection D will be simply equal to D, because it is a subset. D is a subset of A intersection. A intersection D is a subset of D. Go to the second. I calculated A intersection D. First question is A intersection B. Therefore, this is 7C. C problem I have already solved, A intersection D. Go to A intersection B now, students. So, this is C. Now, you go to A. A intersection B, that is equal to, what is A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. B, 2, 4, 6, 8, so on. That means it will be 2, 4, 6, 8, so on. That means this will be nothing but set B. It will be nothing but set B, because B is actually a subset of A. So, when B is a subset of A intersection B will be equal to B. Then question number B, what is A intersection C? That is the next question. A intersection C is, A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on, and C is 1, 3, 5, 7, so on. So, what is the common elements there? Common elements are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. That is nothing but C. That is nothing but C, because C is a subset of A. Actually, A is the universal set here, students. So, an even natural number, odd natural number, prime number. If you take all three, A itself is the universal set which contains all the other sets. So, this one note you make note, very important even from the level 1 exam, CET exam point of view also. Note, the point is, if A is a subset of B, then if A is a subset of B, then A intersection B is always B and A union B is always A. This is a very important note. If A is a subset of B, then A intersection B is always a smaller A intersection B. I am talking about A intersection B, which is a smaller set here, A. A intersection B is always A and A union B is always B. Smaller set is what you have to take. Smaller set is A, that is the intersection, and bigger set is B, that is the union. So, A intersection B is smaller set, A union B is larger set. If you take the union of this natural number and even natural number, union will be natural numbers. And if you take the intersection, natural number and even natural number, then the intersection will be even natural numbers. So, that now note is a very important note. If A is a subset of B, then A intersection B is A and A union B is B. So, this is how we can solve these problems whenever it is given in the roster form, set builder form, write the elements first. So, it will be easy for us to identify the answers. So, that is about question number 7. Next, question number 8. Which of the following pairs of sets are disjoint? You know what do you mean by disjoint? Disjoint means intersection is a null set. Disjoint means intersection is null set. Which of the following pairs are disjoint? That is what the question is. First one, A is equal to set containing 1, 2, 3, 4 and another set is, so let me write, first set is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the second set is all those x such that x is a natural number and from 4 to 6, that means it is 4, 5, 6. This is the first set, this is the second set. Is it they are disjoint? What do you mean by disjoint? Is it their intersection is a null set? Answer is no, because you can see an element 4 which is present here as well as present here. Therefore, I can come to the conclusion, students, they are not disjoint. I have put their cross mark, indicates that they are not disjoint sets. Go to the next one. A, E, I, O, U and C, D, E, F. Is there anything common between those two sets? Just identify. A is not common, E is common. Therefore, once again, students, we can't say that it is disjoint because the element E is common to both. So, that is about disjoint sets. Next, what we will do, students, is we will go ahead with the third operation called difference of sets. Difference means it is not addition, subtraction, no. Symbol may be same, but it is not anything to do with subtraction of numbers, no. We will see what is difference. Now, students, you start with any two sets A and B, then A minus B means all those elements of x which are present in A and not present in B, that is difference. Then if you want me to highlight it in the Venn diagram, that will be easier way to understand the things. This is A, this is B, this is A, this is B. If you could recall, students, how was A union B? Full. What was A intersection B? Only this part. Now, A minus B means this part only I am taking. I am taking only this part. This is the part, students, which is A minus B. A minus B means elements present in A but not in intersection. It should not be there in B. Okay. A irbeku, B irbardu. B irbardu means B covers full this much. So, it should not be there any elements. This is A minus B. For example, if you say take sets like this, A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to 3, 4, 5, then the question is what is A minus B? So, first see the element 1, whether 1 is there in B? No. So, 1 will be there here. 2, whether 2 is there here? No. 3, whether 3 is there here? Yes. So, finished. This is A minus B. They are all those elements x such that x should be there in A and x should not be there in B. Similar lines, students, can you tell me what is B minus A? B minus A is all those x such that x should belong to B and x should not belong to A. That x should be there in the set B, but that x should not be there in the set A. This is the definition. And if you want me to write the Venn diagram for that, Venn diagram, this is A, this is B, then I can say, students, this is actually B minus A. That is those elements which are there only in B but not in A. Illi naan highlight malli kagudilla because these elements are belonging to A, all. These elements will belong to A also. Okay? Fine. Now, if I take this same example, what is B minus A? That is the question. What is B minus A? Element should be there in B, but it should not be there in A. That means element is B, 3 is there here, 4 is not there, let me write 5 is not there, let me write this. So, this is about B minus A. It is not 1 minus 3 minus 2, no subtraction here, only thing is identifying the element here, observe whether it is present here. If it is present, do not write. If it is not present, highlight in A minus B or B minus A. Okay. So, two types of difference, one is A minus B and B minus A. Definitely A minus B and B minus A are not same. In fact, I can give one note here. The note is A minus B and B minus A are disjoint sets. What do you mean by disjoint sets? There is nothing common, no elements are in common. You can see if I take this and if I take this, This is A minus B, this is B minus A. Anything common between these two sets? No. So, they are disjoint sets, their intersection is a null set. So, that is about difference, students. I have written here, note that A minus B, B minus A and A intersection B are disjoint sets, and this is A minus B, this is B minus A and this is A intersection B. All of them are disjoint, and I can write B minus A and A intersection B. All these three sets are disjoint sets. There is nothing in common. Okay? Yes. You can see that sketch Venn diagram. You can see A minus B is the part which is highlighted this side. This is A minus B, and B minus A is that side. This a center part is the intersection of A and B. So, if you want me to give one simple example here to understand the things in a better way, I hope all of you understood, but still say students, if I take the set A is equal to 1, 2, 3 say, and if I take the set B is equal to 3, 4, 5, if I take like this, then what is A minus B? A minus B is 1, 2, then what is B minus A? B minus A is 4, 5, and then what is A intersection B? Intersection B means common elements. What is the common element? 3. Now, you can see this set and this set. Is there anything common between those three sets? Nothing in common. That is what I said. A minus B, B minus A intersection B are always disjoint sets, and if you want me to highlight all three, this is A, this is B, whatever I have highlighted here students with this color, this is actually A minus B, that is A minus B. Then I will highlight some this side with yellow color, this part I will take, and this part will be B minus A, and few elements are there here, this part will be A intersection B. So, A minus B is only this, and B minus A is only this, and A intersection B is this. So, these three parts are separate, they are disjoint sets, and the union of all three, if you take A minus B, union B minus A, union A intersection B, if you take students, it is always equal to A union B, A union B, because this element, together it becomes full. What do you mean by full? I have already told you, full will become union. So, it will be A union B. How was the Venn diagram for A union B? If you could recall, I have given that time, this is A, this is B. If this is A, this is B, then the union I have given it like this. That means all the elements A minus B, B minus A as well as A intersection B. So, this is actually difference of sets. Now, you consider the Venn diagram. You consider the Venn diagram. This is A, this is B. This part all of us know, that is A minus B. This part all of us know, B minus A. Now, students, if you take A minus B union B minus A, then this is A delta B. We write this as A delta B notation, and this delta here stands for symmetric difference. Symmetric difference. So what is symmetric difference between two sets A and B? It's the union of A minus B as well as B minus A. Say for example, the same example if I take which I have given you at that time, A is 1, 2, 3, B is 3, 4, 5, then A minus B will be 1, 2, B minus A will be 4, 5. Therefore, A delta B symmetric difference is nothing but union of these two sets 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. That means this is A delta B. Now students, for the same sets, you write what is A intersection B. A intersection B is set containing 3. And what is A union B? A union B will be set containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is A union B for these two sets, this is A intersection B. And my argument is A delta B is also equal to from A union B difference A intersection B. It is this minus this, means difference of this and this. You know what I mean by difference? Elements present here, but it is not present here. So 3 and 3 element in a baribedi. 1, 2, 4, 5 you write. That itself is a symmetric difference. One way of expression is this and another way of expression is this. Both are same. This is in terms of union and intersection, whereas this is in terms of difference and union. And this is the notation for symmetric difference. What do you mean by symmetric difference? Symmetric difference is the collection of those elements which are there only in A but not in B, or which is there only in B but not in A. So common elements you should not take. So from the union you subtract the, you take the difference of the intersection. So this is actually the concept called symmetric difference. Okay. Now students, question number 9. Question number 9. If x is equal to ABCD and y is equal to FBDG, find x minus y. This is the question which is asked in February 2014 for 2 marks, annual exam for 2 marks. Okay. X is ABCD, y is FBDG, then what is x minus y? X minus y contains those elements which are present only in x but not in y. Only in x but not in y means A, B, C, D. So B is there, D is there. So it has to be AC. B is there in y, I am not writing. D is there in y, I am not writing. So that is how we can calculate x minus y. Next is y minus x. This is equal to, should be there in B, y but not in x. F. B is there, D is there, G, F, G. This is x minus y, y minus x. Clearly students, it is not asked whether it is true or not, but I can say that x minus y is not equal to y minus x. Therefore, the operation difference is not symmetric, whereas we observed union and intersection of sets are symmetric, but this is not a symmetric operation. So x minus y is not equal to y minus x. Then x intersection y is needed. So this is not asked, so I will erase this. X intersection y is elements which are common to both, that is D as well as B, D and B. Then if R is the set of real numbers and Q is the set of rational numbers, then what is R minus Q? Now if you could recall students the hierarchy of number system which I have told you in the very beginning of this class. First one was natural numbers, then whole numbers, then integer, then rationals, then irrational, then real. That day I told you real is the union of rational as well as irrational. The union symbol, whatever I said union operation, it is the same. So real number is the union of rational and irrational. The question is, from these real numbers if you remove rationals, then what you get? From the reals if you remove rational, then what we get is Q star. What is Q star? Q star is the set of irrational numbers. R minus Q is actually Q star, comma, Q star denote the set of irrational numbers. Set of irrational numbers. So R is the set of real numbers and q is the set of rational numbers, then what is r minus q? R minus q is from reals, if you remove rationals, then what you get is irrational numbers. And one more thing what you should know students here is q intersection q dash q star is a null set. There is nothing common between rationals and irrationals. These are those numbers which can be written in the form p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0, and these are the numbers which cannot be written in the form p by q. So they are disjoint. So it is a disjoint union. So r minus q anta helidre it has to be q star. R minus q star anta helidre it has to be q, because q and q star are disjoint. This is the condition. So that's the reason why I wrote in the beginning. Then I have told you that time that I am going to explain this little later to you once the operations in sets is defined. So that's what I have done, students. So it's already done. R minus q is what? R minus q is set of irrational numbers. Okay? Yes. So this is about the third operation called difference as well as symmetric difference. Then now we have to prove two results, but I hope students, all of you understood whatever has been done in today's class. In today's class, basically we studied very important things are, one is the operation called union, intersection, difference. These are the three main things which we have studied. Union means elements present in A or in B. Intersection means element present in A and in B, and A minus B is elements is present in only in A but not in B. So go through these things, students, operations, so that tomorrow when we continue these problems, we are using these operations to solve problems. So it's like cumulative effort. When you want to solve, say, the problems in the next domain, then we may have to use any of the results which we have studied from the definition of set till whatever concepts are covered till that problem. So study all these things, at least spend some time today in solving the practice questions. Whatever practice questions are there pertaining to the topic today, what we have solved as a for practice in the problem sheet given, solve that and prepare well before the next class. So we continue the rest of the things in the next class. Thank you.